Welcome everyone. Welcome to this first breakout session of the week. I'm pleased to have you all here today. So today we're going to talk about software bill of materials and mainly share our experience of using SBOM as part of our product vulnerability management program. So I am Fabrice Kah. I'm from France. And I am the PSIRT Operations Leader at Schneider Electric. I have here with me my colleague Harish Shankar, who will introduce you to the topic. And then we'll proceed with the rest of the presentation. So Harish, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you, Adil. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here and sharing the presentation with you. Okay, before we start, let me start with who is Schneider Electric. Most of you might have known Schneider Electric, but I just want to give a quick overview. We are a energy and automation digital solutions provider for efficiency and sustainability of our customers. Okay, we are most local of global companies. So we are a global company, but we try to be local, or we want to be local. So we have placed our business accordingly. If you could see, our business are scattered across the globe in various regions. It is, if you want to be local, it's quite important to have a balance between your business presence and the people presence. And that's why we have around 168,000 employees across 100 countries. So this morning in the introduction session, we heard that there are people from 99 countries in this conference. So I guess, 100 plus countries is quite coverage, I guess. Okay. And we are also a technology company. We have a lot of innovations to bring in. We have 1,000 plus patents on the Schneider Electric name. And another key important objective of Schneider Electric is we want to be net zero company. So we are a strong advocate of sustainability and energy for everyone in the globe. Okay. And then, so one part is how our business presence is and how our people are present across the globe. On the other hand, being a technology company, we want our technology to reach our customers to get the maximum out of it. Hence, we need to partner with various people on various things. We have around 650K service providers or partners across the globe. So they are the one, who work and provide various solutions, work with us. This includes some collaboration with the universities, etc. And we have 42K plus system integrators, right? So as I said, we are a technology company. We have our products and solutions, and it needs to go to our customer location. And the system integrators and developers are the one who helps us in reaching our technology to the customers. And we have 23,000 plus suppliers, either directly for the production or for the indirect procurement. Okay. So these, now coming back to more on the vulnerability management and the products perspective, we have 2,000 plus suppliers who are directly working on our products, which means it could be a software libraries, or it could be a manufacturer who are flashing the firmware for our products, or it could be a brand label, it could a product which we might be using. Okay. So now, coming into the story of security of our products. So when you say Schneider Electric type of people, where you have products, you have third parties, you have manufacturing, operations at customer location, supply chain is quite an important thing. Every link in the supply chain is a vulnerable, right? So today we are facing a lot of supply chain attacks. So we have 13 different initiatives to cover the overall product supply chain security. Few are transversal and few are specific to the area. For example, the development of it, like R&D, for manufacturing, for commissioning and operations, because we want to ensure security for our customers end to end, right from the product being designed right from it is delivered to our customers. So if you see, we adopt IEC 62443 standards to ensure all the security requirements are taken into the product. And I'll not speak too much about SBOM because the entire session is about SBOM. Fabrice will cover it. And we do have various technology validation, right? So when we develop, we need to ensure our product is secure. So we have a global security lab who do the pen testing. We also partner with some external agencies. For example, Citrix program. It is an initiative from Department of Energy in US by US government. We work with them. We also have our product certifications to ensure our products are secure. And there are a few other elements we need to ensure our source code are secure, right? So we have a source code governance program that ensures our source code is secure and it is compliant to the various requirements. And we also need to consider about the physical aspect of our R&D centers because we don't want our source code to be leaked or any kind of malicious action to happen on our R&D activities. So we have an R&D site security certification activities. And we have similarly, we have a strong program for manufacturing. There are various sets of controls being developed for secure manufacturing. And then the product moves on to the supply chain part of it, right? So when we say supply chain, it goes to the staging area where the systems is built for the customer specific requirement. We ensure security is being taken care in terms of logically, physically, and it is, tamper proof. And then, we also ensure the secure operations at the customer premise. Once our product reaches the customer location, we ensure the security of it. We train our field service engineers to follow the security practice. Ensure, for example, they don't use a USB or unscanned USB in our customer environment. So these are all, specific activity, and we have certain, transversal activities like, having the overarching policy, which is adopted to the local and regulatory requirement. We have customers all over the world. And of course, customers wanted to ensure the security of what we are offering. So they send us questionnaire. We ensure, we are answering them in a right way. And the third parties, I spoke to you about the suppliers, right? So we have a third parties supplier security program to ensure we vet them like the way customer vet us. And then, of course, the vulnerability management, and incident response, which is more of the PSIRT activities. So in the next slide, Fabrice will take you through, because, software bill of material is one of the key component in the supply chain security. He will take you how we are doing SBOM and how we are utilizing it, and especially how it is used within the PSIRT team to respond to the vulnerabilities. Over to you, Fabrice. Thank you.
Okay, so a few words about our SBOM initiative. So I won't give you the basic of what software bill of material is, but I'm going to talk more about our initiatives. So just so I understand, for SBOM for us, it's most often something that is related to firmware, right? So we have a lot of software and cloud products, but we have to consider that most of our products do have an operating systems associated with it, embedded software or something of that nature. And so the SBOM could be, in some cases, the first layer, but also the transitive dependencies, which means there could be additional upstream components and other components that are listed in the software bill of materials. So our journey for SBOM started when Schneider Electric already had a vulnerability management program, which was in place within our governance team and each product team at R&D level. So product vulnerability management was already looking at SBOM all the way back in 2018. And we received a contract which was based off the Edison Electric Institute contract template. And that's one of the contract the US utilities use in North America utilities, and it required SBOM. So that came to us and we started to learn more about SBOM. So Schneider Electric joined the NTIA working group back in 2019 on SBOM. And then in 2020, when the executive order in the US came out and was set to define what the minimum elements were. And with that, in January 2021, we began mandating SBOM for every release of our products. So we created a SBOM policy, making it mandatory, and we started collecting those all the way back then. So this is our level of maturity. And since 2021, we've collected thousands of SBOM internally into a storage tool that I'll talk about later. So the reason why we are working on this SBOM journey is not only because of customer contracts and the US executive order, but it's also been required as part of the US Department of Energy, the Citrix program that Harish was mentioning, and any federal acquisition, and now part of the upcoming European Cyber Resilient Acts, the CRA. So we receive requests each month from customers, so potential customers and current customers for these SBOMs. So from a procurement perspective, this is partially what we receive, but we also receive requests for SBOM from existing customers, and I'll talk about that in just a minute, about how they request it. So as I mentioned, we started this process really with looking at it internally. But since then, there has been other needs in regards to customer visibility and market signals. So let me give you 3 use cases that we have. So software production. So SBOM can help Schneider Electric decide what external software should be included in our code base. So understand all the dependencies and also monitor software component vulnerabilities. Second use case is for software selection. SBOM can help customers select what product to purchase. And of course, it gives more confidence and more trust if you know exactly what you're buying. And the last one for software operations, of course, yes, SBOM can help to maintain and to administer your software throughout its life cycle. So we have a SBOM process in place. So at this point, we've matured and we now have a repository. So where you see that slide in the middle is our repository, and that we are storing. So we are using personally the Cybeats SBOM storage solution. So both for the storage, but also to be able to have the APIs we need to our development teams. And then we have a portal that allows our customers to be able to retrieve the SBOMs in either the Cyclone DX or SPDX formats. So what we are doing is we are taking the SBOM that the team give us, so the product teams, through either generated or through their build level SBOMs, or we are doing the scanning of that ourselves, and generally we take those. So we personally are using primarily finite state for a binary scanning tool for their generated SBOM, but we also have another tool which is Black Duck binary analysis. So the reason why we are not doing all the build level SBOM is because in our OT world, we have these multi-generational products which have been around for quite some time. So in some cases, we are using build scripts. They don't have a modern CI/CD pipeline and modern build pipeline. So for them, rather than updating all the scripts that are being built only once a year, they are providing us with the binaries so we can do the scanning for them. And then before we provide it to customers, we do have the teams verify those SBOMs. But overall, in terms of quality, finite state and BDBA are focused on open source. And so we've seen the quality of SBOMs be like from 15% when there is a ton of old commercial libraries that we've purchased, up to 85 to 90%. So the quality varies quite a lot based on the age of the products and how they've implemented. Like if it's a modern pipeline that has Perl and package URLs and things like that, it's really good at identifying and providing an SBOM. But the older product is, and depending on how it's been built, the less quality we see in that. And so there are some false positive and some false negative, but generally it's something that better than nothing, right? And so from being able to move forward, we are working with finite state, so the tool vendor, to be able to create signatures on our own internal reusable libraries, and also for commercial libraries that we have the source code for. So that way, it can be fingerprinted and identified in the future when we scan those. So now we're going to talk about how we leverage SBOM as part of our. Okay. Sorry, we're all set now. So we're going to talk more about how we leverage SBOM as part of our product vulnerability management process. So, it's not changing. Yeah, but it's not updating my. All right. So we have this concept of impact assessment, which is part of our one of our standard procedure. So when we learn about a vulnerability and want to know if any Schneider Electric product contains the vulnerable component, so that's when we trigger an impact assessment. Okay. So what happens is that as for information, we have thousands of product reference within Schneider. We are building from push buttons to cloud application with analytics, etc., with logic controllers, building management systems. So very heterogeneous environments, right? So we have hundreds of teams across the world, including teams coming from acquisition, etc. So a very complex environment. So when we trigger an impact assessment, it has an impact on a lot of of our teams. So before SBOM, we had to issue a request to every product team. And because no central repository of our code, we don't have any central repository of our code. And then each team would conduct the impact analysis on all the product under their scope. And finally, we are able to get a list of products that potentially affected and determine an action plan. Yeah, so as you can see here, amongst all of our teams, only very few are impacted, and only few products are impacted when we conduct an impact assessment, right? So I'm really having difficulties with this presentation. So with SBOM, we changed our approach. So we could search the SBOM repository from a central location. So based on the result, we're able to decide on whether a full impact assessment is needed, so on the full scope, just like before, or we had the opportunity to do a partial impact assessment, so meaning limited to certain categories of product or to selected lines of business. So that was a great improvement. So this before even evolving the product teams, and in addition, we we were able to provide the product teams with initial list of products that were potentially impacted through the results of our SBOM scan. So this also provided significant improvement for the product teams who were able to quickly identify what were their products potentially impacted by a specific vulnerability. Okay, all right. So for this overall program, the return on investment was not only because of the regulation and the requirements, is we are looking to reduce staff hours. So before SBOM, we had extremely limited visibility into the software components that we were using based on each of the product lines. So we wanted to reduce the staff hours, both at the governance level, but also at the product team R&D level. So now we are very familiar with certain libraries like OpenSSL and Log4j. But when a new celebrity CVE comes along and we need to do that investigation, so being able to quickly go through our repository, then we know exactly which team must have an answer from because of that. And so that helps reduce the amount of time. So this still means, this still means there are teams that because of transitive dependencies and these upstream components, we may not have the full visibility if there are upstream components. For example, when we had Log4j, we had a product that we had listed as not affected. But then later we had to modify that because we found from a supplier that an upstream component of theirs was using Log4j. And so for those, until we have a perfect SBOM in place that has all the upstream dependencies, there is still going to be time that the development teams need to take as we still have to receive that information from our upstream suppliers and in certain cases to see whether or not something is affected. But so overall, we have reduced our time and getting closer to our objectives. And so, for example, Log4j, what would have been many thousands of hours, we saw even back then a reduction of about half of the time because we were able to more easily target our teams. Now, when it gets to commercial libraries, we still have that difficulty. As I mentioned earlier, we don't always have the commercial components properly identified, and those take longer time to identify. So let me take you through an example. So this is a picture of our Cybeats SBOM Studio. So in our software catalog, we have many of our different products. So we can do things by searching vulnerability counts, severity, and KEVs. Yeah, but I need my slide notes. Okay. And then the other thing we have is we are focused on our catalog on the production SBOM, so only for products that are already released. You may have catalogs where you have all the development versions and everything that's related. But because of the volume we have, we focus and retrieve from the teams the production SBOMs only. That's what we are focused on. On this screenshot, it shows 175 software in our catalog. And there's multiple SBOMs and layers, like, our products have multiple packages and there are different levels. So we have thousands of SBOMs actually, and some of them are still in Dropbox or SharePoint. So everything was not yet migrated to this platform. So I think we've got around 4,000 SBOMs now. And in terms of components, it's around 40,000. Yes. So As an example, if I want to search for certain libraries like OpenSSL Log4j, you see I have visibility in 2 different versions. And this is a low and a medium vulnerability that our teams can follow up on. As you saw in the previous screen capture, you can sort by KEVs and all sorts of different areas. So this tool have a lot of flexibility, but for the purpose of SBOM and vulnerability management, being able to leverage and search for specific version numbers and pinpoint the products themselves is the key. So these are the 2 CVEs that we saw earlier and that are referenced on this specific version of OpenSSL. So nothing really new here. But the next one has, you can see the dependencies lookup for Log4j, for example. So from that side, as of version 2.20.0 is used on 2 products. So I'm able to pinpoint very quickly, well enough, as long as the information is accurate. So we do not treat this as perfect, as we know there could be other products with 2.20.0. There is always a possibility of mistakes, but nothing is validated without those impact assessments verified by our product teams. But remember, before we are blind, so it's good improvement. So just to summarize, so since we've started our SBOM journey, we have over 4,000 SBOMs. It's been a learning. We go through it, and we are still learning, of course. So before SBOM, it was really difficult. People weren't really looking at third-party dependencies, and once implemented, an open source component or whatever, it was there forever, and no care of it. So we have seen SBOM has increased awareness to our R&D team, and we have updated our processes to evaluate the risk of open source component in use with each final security review that we do before releasing a product. So by having this information for SBOMs, we have improved the transparency and trust with our customers, because it establishes a relationship. We are providing that information, we can answer questions on that. But in general, customers are using them for procurement. That's really to prove whether or not we are mature by providing those SBOMs. So now we have other programs in place, like providing VEX statements, etc. So as I mentioned previously, many of our active products don't have modern CI/CD pipeline, and scanning tools do not pull up commercial libraries, and maybe not upstream components. So our own suppliers are still in the learning process. So we scan their binaries and create those SBOM for them. And but we are working with them more and more. So if we have the source code, then it's fine. We generate the SBOM, but for things that we brand label, for example, we want to be able to increase those. So our plan is to create a separate tenant location just for brand label products so that we can easily identify those. Because if we identify something in those SBOM that require outside communication, it's very manual at this point. So from a supplier, we get usually PDF or Excel spreadsheets, but we are going to be very strict about that very soon, just because of the upcoming CRA regulation. So before I open for question and answer, these are our contact details if you want to get in touch. And I want also to give credit to Cassie Crossley, who is the main author of these slides, but couldn't be here with us today. So thanks. Open for questions.
We have time for maybe one question because we need to prepare for the next one. So please come to the mic and then, yeah.
Hello. Question. What did you find to be surprisingly easy when moving to the SBOM, and maybe something which was kind of really hard to do?
I can take it. So what is easy, and I mean, this is something I explained, was being able to have visibility into our products. Literally before SBOM, we are kind of blind. We have, a very large number of products, very a wide range, and we just didn't know what was included in them. So this was key to have some visibility at a central level within Schneider, and not have the knowledge only kept within each of the product teams. What was challenging, of course, is to enforce this across our variety of teams spread across the globe into different business units and so on. But eventually we made it. We made it mandatory. Now, before every product release, we require SBOM for the release, which makes it very efficient for us. So we know we are getting, for all of our new products released since 2021, we are getting a SBOM. So that's actually very good.
Okay, thank you.